In this video, we will introduce ImageView. Per the API, a ImageView can display an arbitrary image, such as an icon. The ImageView class can load images from various sources, such as resources or content providers. It takes care of computing its measurement from the image so that it can be used in any layout manager, and provides various display options such as scaling and tinting. Let's look at a basic example. Here I have my main2.xml within the layout folder. I'm going to add an ImageView component. I'm going to set the ID, and the value is going to be ImageView1. And I'm going to set up the layout width and height. Finally, the source is going to be found using the drawable attribute and the name. So when we see this Android source within the image view, it sets a drawable as the content of this image view. So here we set declaratively the Android image as the source to display. I also have a button with an ID of btn change image. Its width and height to wrap content, and the text displayed will be change image. Let's talk about the Android ID very quickly as we see the + ID. Any view object may have an integer ID associated with it to uniquely identify the view within the tree. When the application is compiled, this ID is referenced as an integer, but the ID is typically assigned in the layout XML file as a string in the ID attribute. This is an XML attribute common to all view objects defined by the view class, and you will use it very often. The @ symbol at the beginning of the string indicates that the XML parser should parse and expand the rest of the ID string and identify it as an ID resource. The + symbol means that this is a new resource name that must be created and added to our resources in the r.java file. There are a number of other ID resources that are offered by the Android framework. When referencing an Android resource ID, you do not need the + symbol, but must add the Android package namespace. So here we see our ID, the @ and the +, and the ID, saying add this to the r.java, the ImageView1. Now let's take a look at our activity. Here we have our activity with the button called button change image, and then our image view component. We call a set content view within the onCreate method. Remember that this is the process that is known as inflating the UI. We call our add listener on button, where we get reference to our individual widget, in this case the image view, using the find by ID method. Remember that this method takes an int constant for a specific view, and here we're using the ID of our image view 1. We also obtain a reference to our button change, and on this button change we set an onClick listener, and with on the onClick method we call image.setImageResource r.drawable Android 3D, and the image that is going to replace our Android image is our Android 3D.png. The Android.png was the original image that we set up. So now we're going to change it programmatically within the onClick method. Now let's demonstrate our functionality. I already have the Android emulator up and running, and I also already have installed my app on the emulator. If you want to start the emulator and start the app, remember that first you got to right click on the project, select Run As, and select Android Application. Here I have my original image that's declared within the main2.xml file in the layout folder. Now when I click change image, it changes to the 3D Android image. This concludes our discussion of ImageView.